My husband hid his love child from me for 7 years. It almost broke me. Lesson 1 from my therapist. Week 1, life is not black and white. When you have a view of the world which is very black and white, it can sometimes be difficult to cope with the deviations in those gray seasons. Samantha, my therapist, was fantastic in helping me to see this. I remember our first session. I was discombobulated and fearful. I was living in an amorphous world which lacked structure and stood in stark contrast to the life I had a week earlier. Before the big reveal, when my husband revealed he'd father a love child, I can remember very fond moments of happiness and laughter. It's funny how things can change significantly in a 24-hour time frame. It became apparent through my session with Samantha that I needed to accept that life has gray periods. And, even with the best intentions and will in the world, there is never really any guarantee that the person you married years ago will honor their lifelong commitment. She looked at me expressionless and said, "We cannot control other people, we can only control ourselves." This resonated with me. Immediately, I knew I had to prioritize self-care to secure my well-being and that of my children. To help me along my journey to healing, I continued doing the things in my life that brought normality, like work and church. I also continued to do the things that brought me joy, such as meeting up with my girlfriends, enjoying the fresh air and going for long walks. In the midst of my tears and frustration, I also drew on my faith. Honestly, having a multi-pronged approach helped me during one of the darkest periods on my life. Samantha asked me to write down how I was feeling and what I wanted to talk about during our next session. Would you like to hear about what we discussed in my second session?